way to the end. Swap hardware, brainstorm the problem. Brainstorm the problem. Brainstorm the problem.
Good morning. It's Monday morning, 9 a.m., July 1st, the 1st of July, 2024. And I noticed this is the screen gets lighter and lighter and lighter as that logo comes in. I think there must be some kind of a graying effect on that logo panel. I don't know. Anyway, here we goes. So I figure I'm going to start with a client story. Hello, John Williams. Whoops. Okay, now speaker bot is on. Try something again, somebody. Yeah, I'm going to give a little client story, short one, and then tell the story about Big B Spilled and my intended replacement of the Western Digital Red drive with this 8 terabyte Barracuda and how that went horribly wrong in a wonderful way. What? What does he mean by that? Well, we'll get to that. A client called me Sunday morning, early Sunday morning, 7:30. Well, texted me. And I called him back because obviously he was okay then. He said, hey, Doug, I bought a external DVD drive for my home laptop and I can't get it I can't read the data off of the CD that I'm trying to read from. So I connect remotely to his computer. We do a little tinkering around and I say, well, show me what one you bought. So we went on to his Amazon listings, and this is the culprit here. This is what he bought. And I looked at that and thought, wow, that's weird. All these ports on an external DVD drive. Why in the world would you want that? I'm not going to try to stop that image from popping around. And what do you do? Is this give you the capability, maybe without having the drive connected to a computer, that you could copy from a CD to an SD card or vice versa, or a USB thumb? Why would you want to do that? And then what came to be is it's simply a USB hub. That's all this is. The new laptops these days are coming like with one USB-C port and one USB type A port. So this is a way to have this device if you're a person who's going to use DVDs, CDs once in a while. On the back, there's the drawer over there. So this is the back side. You can treat this as a USB hub. You don't have to plug both of these into the computer. In the past, we had CD, DVD, external drives that you had to plug both in because one provided extra power to the device. Either or is fine, whatever port you have available. Then here you could use a USB dongle for your wireless mouse and keyboard. Now, I asked him, okay, how do you have it connected? Which wire do you have it connected? And he said, well, they only gave me one wire. So they gave me the CD drive and this wire right here. So he plugged that wire into this port on the DVD drive and the other end into his computer. I said, well, no, I think we need to plug in this cord. And they said, well, they didn't give me that cord. All right, well, look underneath the CD drive. I think this cord is pushed into a channel inside the bottom of that drive. And yes, indeed, that was the case. So he pulled that out and plugged it into the computer and boom, we got it up and running. So that was just interesting. I hadn't ever seen one of those. Now I'll get into the story. Why was it a good thing that I had trouble putting this in? To remind you of the situation, I have a Western Digital Red drive in that computer for a spinning drive for storing my backups and some other things. And I actually have or had my OneDrive and my iCloud. So I had two cloud services on there, and that was not really ideal. I just kind of evolved over time and they wound up being there. And now the problem that I was having with Big B's Build is it would sometimes, I'd have trouble starting it up. I'd have to restart it. It would get a HDD error on that LED window that is right around there. You can barely see it. And we had discussed on this channel that Perhaps that Western Digital Red is contraindicated. I just like that word. And isn't a good choice for a computer that gets put into hibernate or shut off and on and off and on. So I ordered this 8 terabyte Barracuda. Transferred files over to it, used Macro Reflect, booting the computer off of a thumb drive and cloning direct to this drive. And then connected this drive, disconnected the other one, didn't bother dismounting or so on. I wanted to see it work first. And I still had the same problem. Okay, so next what I go is to a troubleshooting approach of simplify, remove elements, all elements possible. So really the first step for that was disconnect both of these spinning drives and see how it goes. I still had the same problem. I'd turn it on and it would get stuck in the post operation. I'd let it sit for 5-10 minutes, never get past that. I could do Control-Alt-Delete and never get it to start up without, well, let's see. No, that's not quite right, because I still had the NVMe drive in there. So yes, with Control-Alt-Delete, I could get it to start up eventually. So I said, there's something wrong here. So I got to go further. I need to find a consistent symptom. So I removed the NVMe drive. So now there's no drives in the computer. Will it get through post? What do you think? What do you think? No. Still HDD error. What? What the heck? And it won't even get into BIOS. I couldn't get it into BIOS settings. I tried multiple different ways. With no drives connected, I could not even get it into a BIOS setup screen. So I put the NVMe drive back in, start the computer up, use the reset in Windows to do advanced startup so I could get into BIOS that way. Got into BIOS, and at that point I had the theory, okay, I'm going to go look at the SATA drive configuration in BIOS setup. And it gives the ability, there's like, what, 8, I think, internal SATA connectors on this motherboard. And they're all individually controllable on the motherboard. So I disabled all of them to tell BIOS, don't even look at these. Don't even try to access a SATA drive. Then I was able to get a consistent startup. So at the moment, I have only the NVMe drive in there. I have no SATA drives connected, no spinning drives connected, which means my backups, my Macro Reflect backups are on hold. My Magnus Box backups are still functional. I think I need to go check on that. My intention is to let that go for a little while. Now, why was I having this problem? Why with no drives connected could I not get into BIOS? That would sound like there's a real problem with BIOS. I shouldn't have to turn off the SATA drives. Well, I believe I got it figured out. Remember way back when, use the Wayback Machine, because there was a piece that I left out of this story so far. When I started messing around with these drives and I got the idea that I want to remove the NVMe drive, actually before that I realized, oh, I had completely forgotten about that. And let's see, how quickly can I go find this and pull this up? I don't know, if somebody gives me a link for the manual for my motherboard, I've got a link around there somewhere. But anyway, we don't really have to go look at that. There is a I'm forgetting that dot 2, that slot that looks like a memory slot, but it can take two NVMe drives inside that container. I guess I'm going to have to go find that. Let's see. I did it. It should show up on my history because I brought that up the other day, and that was on Big Beast Baby that I brought that up. So that should give me a quick way to get to it. There it is. Here, I got the manual. I got your manual right here. Let's just get down to that. It should be easy enough to find that. Dim.2. That's what I was struggling for, is dim.2. Did it actually show on here? SSD module. Is that it? The DIM.2 card. Does it actually show as the card? But it goes in this slot right here next to the RAM slots. And let's zoom this in a little bit. The normal slots, what normal people would do is put their NVMe in one of these M.2 slots here. But no, I'm Doug. I can do advanced stuff. I put that DIM.2 board in here, and it still has my NVMe 8 terabyte drive in it. And I thought, you know what? That's not normal. That's out of the box. That's an edge case. It's not doing the something the way it ought to be done. I suspect that if I would have had that NVMe drive in the normal slot, this DIM. Not DIM.1. The slot. No, not there either. Whatever. If I would have had it in the right slot for a single NVMe drive, I probably would have got into BIOS just fine with no drives attached. I probably would not have been having that post-error symptom happening. So I'm pretty sure that's what's going on. I have not moved my NVMe back to that yet because by the time I got through all this, it was kind of late last night.
Ran Israel said your OS is running off the DIM.2 slot?
Yes. Now the operating system probably was not intended by the motherboard manufacturer to run off the DIM.2 slot. That's an edge case, not quite the right way to do it, most likely. DIM.2. Yeah, not M.2. I am saying DIM.2. DIM is normally used for memory, right? This is a DIM.2 slot that has this adapter carriage that can hold two M.2 storage drives, NVMe or SATA. So, and I wanted to experiment with that back a while back because I think, and I don't remember very clearly, I think it was because I was interested in its capability for RAID 1, for drive mirroring. I think that's what I was trying to do back then. So, as is commonly the case, somebody tries to do something out of the box, a little bit different, shoot themselves in the foot. I'm suspecting that's what happened here. So my intention is to run it this way for a few days and see how it performs. I think it's going to perform better. It's going to restart better because I have those SATA slots disabled. Startup time now is about 2 minutes. And this computer is always going to take longer to start up because its post is kind of long. And then what I'll do is move that NVMe drive back into the proper slot where it belongs and conform. Be a conformist. All right. I'm going to go check in with the chatter room. Chatterroomba. Roomba. Oh yeah, I had a Roomba. How do I want to line this up? I guess I'll do it this way, this time. I have a bunch of other things that I have lined up to talk about. Are there any questions in chat? Because those always take priority. John Williams, Monday is just like Saturday to me. He's referring to the trailer Monday. I started my new job at the coffee factory this week. It's a grind. Thank you, Brian. Hello, Josh, John Williams, Ryan Israel, Alice, Selden Ball, Brian Lightfoot. My therapist says I have a preoccupation with vengeance. We'll see about that. Well done. John Williams, Ski Man, Dennis, my Spanish-speaking commercial just interrupted your intro, but I'm here. Good morning, and good morning to you. PCs and laptops were better when they came with this. PCs and laptops were better when the CD drive. Lawn Dog, to me, Doug, it looks like a DVD player with an added feature of things like having USB hub that you can plug other devices into. Exactly. You recognize that on first glance. I did not. Look what they took from us. It's about the features. Would you buy that if you only needed a hub and didn't need CDs? No, you wouldn't. It's about features. Zvi Minor, hello. A combo DVD card reader hub, nice. Yeah, I think it is. I think it is a really nice idea for a person who uses them. And this person is a chiropractor. He routinely receives patient files on CDs. So he frequently uses that, and he has a fairly new laptop that only has one USB-C port and one USB-A port, and he has a wireless mouse keyboard dongle in the A port. I did not think to tell him that you could plug that dongle into the DVD drive, but I think it's irrelevant. He's not always going to have the DVD drive plugged in. He will always want to have his keyboard mouse dongle plugged in, so I think leave that on the computer type A port, USB A port. Cable looks like it's going directly into the device. That's the main cable. Yeah, and you can't remove it. You can't do an extension. He said, well, this is kind of difficult. I don't really have the space close to my laptop for that short cable. So we went right onto Amazon and ordered him an extension, 3-foot, a USB 3-foot extension. I don't remember. Oh, ouch. I think I did that wrong. I think we ordered a type A extension, which means he's going to have to pull out his mouse dongle and plug it into the DVD drive. Maybe I call him today and say, hey, wait a minute, let's rethink that, because I think he'd rather have the C cable. I was thinking the same thing, pretty feature-packed DVD. I might choose that device like that myself. That's why I kind of hate the world, gone away from DVDs. No, I'm old-fashioned. Still use the damn things, at least for reading old discs. My mouse just went away. Oh, it went over to Baby Beast. There really is something wrong with this device. The computer has some real issues, like possibly failed electronic components. Yeah, I was wondering that at the time. I was thinking, oh no, am I going to have to give Carrie a call and say, help, Mr. Wizard? No, I don't think so. Yeah, Rand Israel came up with that right away, dim.2. What computer are we talking about? Yeah, we're talking about Big Beast. A minute ago, we're talking about the laptop. Yeah, I changed topics. I finished about the laptop, Long Dog. Stay with me. Stay with me. Jeff Ryman, hello from Las Vegas, back at home. Your OS is running off dim.2, yes. M.2, NVMe, yes. Yes, Doug, probably not intended to or external add-in cards, but also you might have to really dig really deep, very specific things in BIOS. It might be there to allow booting from an external card or add-in card. I never did have to do anything in BIOS to enable that card. It does share something or other with the second M.2 slot. Went to meet with a link regarding what is dim.2. Yeah, a riser card. That's a good way to think of it. This is just showing the slot here. Do they give you a picture? This is going slow, sluggish. Then just showing the dim.2 slot next to the RAM slots. Yeah, here's what the expansion card looks like. This is moving really sluggish. How is my zero drop frames? OBS looks fine, but as I'm using my scroll wheel, it's just real delayed. Yeah, this is what it looks like. There's here's a slot here, M.2 slot. There's one on this side and one on the other side, and then it's got heat sinks on both sides. The heat sink, I actually disassembled it yesterday. Taking the cover, the heat sink off, there was an adhesive thermal strip between the M.2, and so it was difficult to remove because it's adhesive on both sides of the thermal strip. And I was looking through the side and realized, man, I could easily break that M.2 if I pulled too aggressively on this, which I did not. Otherwise, I wouldn't be here this morning on a live stream. I agree with your diagnosis. Just put everything the way it normally should be. OS should be in the primary M.2 slot. And I also want to do a speed test on the NVMe drive while it's in this dim.2 adapter. On some motherboards that support 10th gen Intel use dim.2 slot, it can change if you install the 11th gen Intel CPU. Skimming over a little bit. That's all just kind of saying the same thing. Daniel Emberley, good. We get an update. Looks like swapped out my 5-volt USB charger that feeds power to my Shite, SCHIIT, Shite DAT for another charger. No problems using Toslink optical since doing that yesterday. Too early to say if that really resolved the problem. 5-volt USB charger that feeds power. She suspects sells by the seashore. She suspects shelling sea. She suspects the charger might have been the source of the trouble. Not proven yet. Wintermute needs an ad blocker, or I do. Oh, is that what was happening? Was it ad? Oh, I have an ad blocker. Oh yeah, it's trying to pop up ads. So if I have my ad blocker off by default. So when I click on that, it turns it on for this page. Let's see if that does it. Yeah, that does it. That's what was going on. And it was just the ads. I like to remember, out of the box. I'm the edge case. I'm the fringe case. I like to leave it off by default so I can see who are the offenders. And the worst offenders for advertisements are computer tech websites. Muting for a moment. Unmute confirmed. Skipping over those. It's all along the same lines. Not saying anything new. All right. Then I will move on to what else do I have lined up? Oh, let's make... That was an edge case, perhaps an edge case, the way that I'm using this DIM.2 adapter by having my computer boot off of that. The manufacturer wasn't intending for that. I never saw any documentation saying that is contraindicated or not recommended. I didn't actually search for that, but now that I've told you what I've done, it would be very interesting if any of you find documentation that yes, you should, documentation, not just our suspicion or conclusion, documentation that says you should not be booting off of a DIM.2 slot. Now, the fact that I was able to get it to boot stable and get into BIOS stable by disabling all of the SATA drives, I think all that was doing is that was stopping the computer from looking at every other possible place where there might be boot media, because I think it was probably first looking in the M.2 slots and looking at the SATA slots and find nothing in any of them. It says, what? I don't know what's going on here, but there is something in the DIM.2, and somehow that prevented it from even getting into BIOS setup. Now, there was a couple times when I had, when the screen on there said BIOS setup, indicating that it was in BIOS setup, but there was nothing on any of my monitors. And I swapped around my video cables so that I only have one cable, tried one cable in each port.
Asus, does any other maker uses it?
This is not Asus. Were you saying besides Asus? This is a Gigabyte motherboard, not Asus. I don't know if any other motherboard uses that. Now, where was I at? Edge case. Oh, another thing that I did is I disconnected all my USB cables and I removed the capture card. So the idea of troubleshooting, simplify, remove everything you don't absolutely have to have.
Is Asus.
Big B's motherboard is Asus? Really? Let me get back over here. I didn't think that was right. BBB, what did I call it? Parts. BBB, Big Beast build parts list. Oh, yeah, okay, I guess you're right. Sorry, why was where did I think that wrong? Yeah, it's Asus. All right, I stand corrected. Thank you. And I am standing. See, couldn't do this if I was on a chair. Okay, where was I at? Edge case, remove everything, simplify, get rid of everything that you don't absolutely have to have, and still couldn't get into BIOS setup. Told me that I think it's got to be the DIMM.2. Now, even taking the DIMM.2 board out, that's right, I took the DIMM.2 board out, so now no drives at all, and I could not get into BIOS setup. Now, what is my current theory as to why that was the case? Until I disabled the SATA ports. Once I disabled the SATA ports, then I could get into BIOS. Seems like there's a piece of that missing, because without any drives in place, I should be able to get
Israel
into
said that
BIOS.
means the issue with the onboard controller on the device.
Yeah, that means the issue with the onboard control on the device. I'm probably going to look at that again. Meaning remove the DIMM.2 and see if I still cannot get into BIOS, to be sure that with all the stuff I went through yesterday, that I'm not confusing it with something else. Which, hey, Doug, just Doug. Another edge case that we worked with on Saturday, we didn't identify it as that, but an edge case, something that the manufacturer did not intend. I don't know, is Ken Stout here? I don't think I've seen Ken Stout in chat, because this is on his gifting memberships, where we found that I was able to gift memberships to people on his channel using a
Ken
Google
Stout Live
account.
said, yes, I am here.
Oh, okay. Using a Google account where I was not even subscribed to his channel. I was not a member of his channel, and I was able to gift memberships. That, I think, is probably an edge case that when YouTube came up with the idea of memberships and started programming it, they said, okay, one of the phases they went through is we want to enable people to be able to gift memberships to other people. So they put in programming code for that, but they didn't put any code at the beginning of that to check and see, is this person already a member of that channel? Is this person a subscriber of that channel? And if they're not, should we allow them to gift memberships? It's extra work for them to do that. I suspect that was an edge case scenario that didn't occur to them that would happen. Hang on a moment. And this is the whole reason why we get updates all the time. Because there are things that the original programmers missed, didn't think of. When you go read through the details of what does this particular update accomplish, you read through the details, and sometimes you'll see things like to fix a problem where sometimes when somebody's trying to do XYZ and ABC conditions exist, they will have this problem happen. And maybe it's consistent, maybe it's not, that they encounter that problem. Well, this issue with Big Beast Build and me booting on the DIMM.2 like a dimwit. Uh-oh, that's gonna haunt me. Similarly with YouTube memberships. When YouTube programmed the capability to gift memberships, they didn't think that somebody who's not a subscriber to the channel or not a member of the channel might try to gift memberships. And do we want to allow them to do that? I'm guessing they didn't think about it. On another similar point, since I was able to gift memberships, even though I'm not a member of the channel, we saw also that I was able to click to say that I am willing to receive a membership on Ken's channel, even though I wasn't a subscriber to that channel. Did they look for that possibility? Now, it's quite possible when YouTube goes to gift membership to somebody, I suspect they did put in the code that they don't want to gift it to anybody out there. who's never even watched Ken's channel. Ken has seen some memberships awarded to people that he doesn't recognize. That doesn't mean they're not a subscriber, because if a person's has their YouTube account configured in such a way to not let their channel name be visible when they subscribe, then you won't, as the content creator, you won't see their name when they subscribe. So sometimes when they do allow that, Ken can see somebody has joined his channel, although that person allows their name to be shown. But what happens when somebody subscribes to his channel and they have their privacy set so that it doesn't show? Is it possible that when they are gifted a membership and Ken gets to see it in his chat room, that maybe YouTube is actually showing channel names who have their privacy set to not show their channel name, but YouTube neglected to check for that when they created the code for showing the awarding of a membership gift? So this is just an example where programmers don't think of everything that might happen with the edge cases. Brian Lightfoot, dim.2wit. Anybody, yeah. English, please. Yeah, isn't it uBlock Origin? Isn't that what I'm using? Or, yeah, uBlock Origin. Yeah, that's what I'm using. Oh, this one here is another support. Bob Carlson has been on the show a few times. He's come on with his camera. I've connected remote to his computer, so it's okay to show this. I did a support with him on the 27th, whenever that was, 4 days ago. He had a Excel worksheet that had gone, not missing, but they had been gone for a couple of weeks. When they came back, opened it, and the data that they had put in was, before going, was not there. Excuse me. So we have Macroom Reflect free edition on his computer. I mounted that in Macroom Reflect, maneuver to the folder. We found, see, is that the way I did it? There's a couple ways you can do it. Yeah, I think that's the way I went. And we found a couple, 2 or 3 different date versions. And we took the one that was most recent, copied it into the place where he wanted it to be after first renaming the one that was already there, just in case. And that fixed it. And he had already spent some number of hours trying to figure out what happened, trying to find it, and so on. And I do charge for things like that, not because I need the $17 from them, but because it shows the value of my services. When I can fix something that was a nightmare to them and they get this small dollar amount, that makes my clients feel really, really good about my services. When it turns around the other way, when we spend a lot of time trying to fix something that seems like it should have been easy, then those pills are easier for them to swallow. All right, well, that fills out a little bit more than my allotted half hour. I will read through the rest of this later.
Read chat, please.
Gary Weisenberger gives Asus motherboards and Asus cookies, accept cookies. Fine, whatever. What are you trying to direct me to here? BIOS update, that maybe that'll fix it. Seems to me that I've June 16th, 2020. Oh, that's recent. This update includes the patch for logo fail vulnerabilities, improves stability before BIOS update. Please download ME update tool, Asus. Update to ME version before running BIOS flashbook tool. Rename the BIOS Intel ME. That's a security update. Update your ME drive. ME drive. What's ME drive? Yeah, okay, a very recent BIOS update. So I first would want, I'll first document that what problem symptom exists, and then
Weisenberger
do
said
that
driver.
update.
Zvi Manor said, it's against LogoBIOS virus.
Logo BIOS virus, it's against. It's to fix Logo BIOS virus, which kind of doesn't sound like the trouble I'm having, but improves system stability. It includes this patch. That's not all it is for, though. Patch for the logo failed vulnerabilities. Well, okay. The logo on that LED screen, LCD screen, whatever the heck it is, those things just in one ear and out the other. Could that be
Read
what's
chat,
actually
please.
happening? Is that failure? John Williams, are you wanting me to read your? I don't see anything from you. I think I've seen all these. I saw that. Driver. Just give me just that this is a, there's a, oh, he's trying to direct me to the driver that's in here. Intel ME, is that what you're referring to as a driver? This is, update includes the patch. This is BIOS and firmware. Does he want me to go to driver? You got to give me more than just a single word driver. I don't know what you're trying to say with that.
John Williams said yes.
Yes, meaning you're just trying to direct my attention to this stuff? Is that what you mean by yes? Intel Management Engine. Oh, Management Engine, that's what ME is. Okay.
Gary Weisenberger said red Wintermute.
Read Wintermute. Okay, and John. Oh, okay, you're just letting me know that Wintermute tells me, because I said, what is ME? And he answered that. That's
John
why you're
Williams
saying
said,
that.
yes, me.
Yes, me. Yes, you. Yes, I, him, her, I, me, whatever. All right. I think I'm on the same page with y'all. So here we go once again. Hit this button, and then
Gary
this
Weisenberger
button.
said update both.
Yeah, I'll do that on both. You can click on that one to see how to get free support, and this one to see how to get paid support from me directly in private sessions, and this one right here to turbocharge your troubleshooting experience by watching this channel. And then that's a random video that, well, not random. YouTube thinks it would be good for you to watch that for some reason. Have a great day, everybody. Catch you later. Goodbye.